how to reach people on the subject. I don't care so much either. I mean, I don't want to see any of you die a horrible death. The tragedy comes where you don't have the information and you got it now. You got it now. So you have 2 journals. And one of these, Journal 15, deals extensively with enough references to keep you reading for 15 years. I mean that literally, reading an hours every night on the subject of metabolic derangement and hyperinsulinism. Issue 15 will tell you how to give you the foundation, the backing to understand meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. Issue 21 is the flip side of this issue, and it's about optimizing performance. Now, you will not, through a diet of meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, you will not be so lucky as to optimize your output. To get a sub-3 Fran, what I need you to do is I need you to weigh and measure your meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. You got to weigh and measure. And oh, I wish it weren't true. I may have told you earlier, I wish the path to fitness were riding expensive bicycles and drinking beer. I wish that's how we did it. It doesn't work. What you have to do is eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar, and you got to get a scale, and you got to get a measuring cup, and you need accuracy and precision to your consumption, or you'll never get in that jet stream of elite performance. You want to have top fuel type performance, you need top fuel. You can't just piss into the gas tank. I wish it were otherwise. Now, why do I say this? What do I base this on? Well, look how easy this is. No one's ever demonstrated to me anything but inferior capacity on a diet where they didn't weigh and measure. Now, am I telling you have to weigh and measure your food? No. On some level, I don't give a fuck. I'll go out with you right now. We'll eat the fuck, you know, I'll have a banana split and drink beer. But what I'm going to tell you is if you really think you're going to get somewhere in terms of your performance on this shit diet, I'm telling you, you're high on crack. It ain't going to happen. And we've seen enough instances of this now. I've worked with tens of thousands of people, and no one's ever done it. And I can take any cohort of people and get one of them to finally listen and go, I'm going to weigh and measure my food, and not forever, but to start. And every once in a while, you got to go back and weigh and measure, because it's funny that all the foods you don't like, the requirements will diminish. Yes, I only need 1 spear of asparagus, and ice cream. I think it was a pound, wasn't it? You know, you'll morph in the wrong direction. I can take a group of people, any cohort, get one of them to pay attention to what I'm saying and eat, and he'll pull away. More pull-ups, I promise it. So there's very few things you can do short of doing pull-ups to get more pull-ups than eating the way we're recommending. Why is that? I don't know. I got a couple of weird theories. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. But the truth is, you eat the recommendation, you eat the way we're recommending in journal number 21, issue 21, the one that's about optimizing performance, and you will get more pull-ups. You know, you could postulate, well, you're going to lose some weight. Yeah, you'll lose 3 pounds and pick up 15 pull-ups. That's not what caused that. Eddie's got a great story. He was part of where one of his SEAL buddies, our friend Grady, who never beat Eddie at anything, started zoning and ran away. Eddie, what happened?
This guy's a little smaller than I am. You know, pretty easy to happen, right? And work out together quite often when we were working together. And, you know, every once in a while he'd get me at something more endurance-like, but I had him on the strength stuff and a lot of the bar movements and stuff like that, just to give him. Felt good about myself. He beat me here, I beat him here. Well, shortly thereafter, you know, coming off of a seminar, same concept. He'd listen, and he finally did, but didn't tell me, fucker. He's trying to get on out. Maybe just to see what would happen. But, yeah, we're squatting and thrusting, and he started to exceed me in weight. Looking at my body, I'm like, looking at him, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And so I'm like, okay, I know I have to do the same thing. That's usually what gets your attention. If you're that type of person, it's the performance angle. You see someone who normally you beat and you best constantly, and now you're getting best specifically when you have them in the bag, then you're like, I'm gonna try this now.
There has never been a cohort of individuals, here they are performing in some kind of collective sense. Let's say here's up is good. I can pick any one of these and put them out here ahead of the pack through weighing and measuring their food. And when I hear sub 3-minute Fran, sub 7-minute Helen, 4 something on Fight Gone Bad, I know I know something about the way you're eating. There's a one-to-one correspondence between elite CrossFit performance and accuracy and precision to the consumption.
Is it possible, is it likely that as an average athlete, average CrossFitter, that I can become an extraordinary CrossFitter, an extraordinary athlete by changing my diet?
Yes, but maybe more to the point, it's impossible if you don't. That's, so let's remove the barrier and find out. Yeah, I can tell by listening. I know you're tough, and in commitment and focus are gonna overcome genetic limitations. And there's an interesting thing in our Nicoles and Amundsons and Everetts and AFT and OPT, the Canadian boys, and that is just their rigor. And so we're all sitting around at night tossing beers, laughing, and they're over there in a corner, they're gonna go to bed in 20 minutes because they're on schedule. And if you can, not Nicole. But if you'll commit to the effort, you'll stand a much better chance. Much better chance. We've had this fantastic experience of playing with this cohort, and one of them pulls away. This, in fact, is what happened to Greg Amundson. And then later it was Mike Weaver, and then Dave Lees. In the balance in this 40-30-30 milieu, what happens is that the flensing, the burning of body fat, just is wide open. And what you're going to find is a performance improvement, and at some point you're going to want to stop that leaning, or you'll get too lean to perform well. And you'll find a plateau in your output, and there you need to ratchet it up. I do the same thing for a hard gainer, just kind of keep them happy and moving. A hard gainer, I don't mind them. I'm not trying to get a hard gainer rip. I'd like to put some muscle on them, give them some satisfaction that way, get the strength up. But the control rod is those monounsaturated fats. And the first step, when we get you as lean as you want to be, before I get a diminution in performance, I want to double the fat blocks. Take you to XX and 2X. And if you're like, wow, I feel a whole lot better, I might try 3X. And if it doesn't feel a whole lot better, you just get a little thicker, then I'd go back to the 2X. But I would let performance tell me what to do. Now, in making modifications to the thing, I want to see any kind of change in physiognomy or what's happening. And I've got a lot of room to play with if someone comes in and they've got some extra padding, I would like to lean them out. At the point that they're like, wow, she's ripped, he's ripped, I'm going to be more careful. There's a couple of interesting things here. We are part of the crew that brought this nutritional strategy, the Stanford swim team, and a bunch of the women, Sanders, Evans, world record holders, they'd get sub 13% body fat and become amenorrheic. Guys, their periods would stop, and we had them down 6-7% and normal menses. And so there's an interesting bit there. But if I look at the formula for calculating what is relevant, what is pertinent, what is the variables that matter in the prescription are lean body mass and activity level, done. If you are pregnant or lactating, it makes a slight difference. But there's no inherent difference for men or women, for young people, old people. I want to know how active you are, and I want to know what your lean body mass is. And everything else is not germane, not pertinent, not relevant, extraneous information. If you're lactating, in terms of that activity level, by the way, lactating or pregnant, or both, what you would get is an extra 1/10 on that activity level, which is really not that significant. It's well within the normal variances in your consumption based on appetite and the vagaries and contingencies of everyday living, schedule and time and all that. And that's the problem therein in not weighing and measuring. The normal fluctuations of schedule and appetite and all that are way more granular, way coarser than the fine path required to optimize performance. And that's why I say you won't get there by luck. None of our people that just paleo things, meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruits, little starch, no sugar, none of those people have been top performers. All of my top performers have been weigh and measure folks. It does bring into mind that we do know of one supplement that's effective, and that's EPA, fish oil, and not omega-3s in general, because that would also include linoleic acid. And I don't want you getting that, and I don't want flax either. If you're markedly deficient, you'll get some benefit, but as soon as you're not deficient, you'll spill over and it'll have the opposite effect. And I was part of a crew that undertook some rather rigorous and detailed clinical investigations, experimentation with elite athletes in essential activated acid supplementation, and we fucked up a lot of good athletes with it. Now, those of you deploying, if you're going down range, I'd back off before. You will thin your blood and dramatically. I cut myself shaving once, and an hour later, I'm like, and I'd let go, and it just drip, 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 and I'm like, whoa, I got a fucking leak, you know? Toilet paper, nothing's working. I had to keep my finger there, and cold water, turn upside down, get my blood pressure to drop. I mean, and I wasn't taking that much. It decreases cell membrane. It does a bunch of things. And one it does is decreases cell membrane motility. There's a cool experiment you can do with a microscopic projector. You take a goldfish and poor fucker, wrap it in wet cotton and put the fin under the beam and look at it on a projector. And you can actually see red blood cells competing to line up because they go through the capillaries one at a time. And there's this little crowding and nudging, and it's all like if someone screamed fire, there'd be a little clogging at the door here, and of course Eddie would be first through, but the rest of us, we kind of bunch to the side, and you wait for your time, and you squirt through eventually if the narrowing were only one at a time. Well, with the fish oil, with the decreased cell membrane motility, increased motility, rather, what we get is the insulin resistance that causes the decreased motility. What we see is that the cell membrane becomes very fluid. And they just choo, 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 like magic, race through. And you'll actually get a substantial increase in VO2 max just through taking fish oil alone. But woe be to you if you should fall down and skin your knee. I mean, don't go crazy with this shit. You may end up regretting it. We haven't seen serious injury yet, but the potential's there. You know, there's all this talk about molecular distillation, and Sears talks a great talk on this thing. The trick to heavy metals like mercury, the trick would be getting it in the fat. It doesn't. The affinity, the protein has like a 50 times greater affinity for the molecule than the fat does. You can't get mercury into oil. That's just not really a worry. But still, you know, I'd like clean supplement. It is really clean. And dose, you know, I'll make this easy for you. I'd take 2 or 3 a meal. And if you were going to go down range, I would knock that off early. And if you're one of these guys like pager goes off, I'm gone, I'd give serious thought as to whether I'd play this game or not. I sure the hell wouldn't go more than 1 or 2 per meal. If you're going down range.